Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. Okay, I'm going to do another project for my journal of stitchery. A little while ago, I think it was around the February, might have been January, I did the hummingbird. Now it's not technically a prompt from the project. The prompt was doing samplers, and I think the first one was a bunny. But while I was waiting for everyone to do their samplers, I started mucking around with some birds, and I've added them to my journal as well. I'm a real lover of birds because there's just so much scope to do things with their feathers. Sort of like flowers, you can sort of do anything. So I made the hummingbird. If you remember, there's a video on that further back in my playlist. Now, the hummingbird and my next one have all come from this book here. It's fantastic. If you haven't got it already and you're looking for some inspiration in the way of birds and flowers, I can highly recommend it because it gives you all of your designs. And then Trish has stitched them. So there's all sorts in here. Don't be shied away by the detail that Trish has put into the birds and flowers, because when you do slow stitch, you're sort of taking it into your own world. It's not a true embroidery in the fashion of this. So if you do see this book and you're considering it, grab it. Like, that can be pretty daunting. That there is stunning. I'll bring it up to the camera. Look at that. The detail that is in that and those leaves. But don't worry about it because slow stitch really, takes it into a whole new level. They're just beautiful. Like, look at that. Yeah. Anyway, I'd never be able to do this. I just think it's, amazing. That's the hummingbird there. And then there's my hummingbird. So as you can see, completely different. They're just a good starting point. There's the owl up the top of the page there. Now there he is again with a bit of red in him. So this owl's been in my mind for a little bit, and I've traced him out using that. And then from there I had to enlarge him. So I just did a bit of sketching and sort of built my owl a little bit bigger because I want him to be quite predominant on my piece. But this book, I think I did a video on this when I first started out my YouTube channel. One of the earlier videos is a product review on this book. So yeah, if you see it, grab it. I just love her work. Okay, now I'll just pop that to one side. So my journal of stitchery is taking in other pieces other than what the girls are prompting, because it's just so inspiring. It's just the girls get us going, and then I finish it so quickly, and then away I go again. So this owl is going to join the group. So I'm staying within the dimensions of the journal, and from there I can slide it into a book as well. That's a dragonfly. That's also a Trish Burr picture. Okay. All right, so let's get this out of the way and I'll show you my owl. All right, this is the little guy. Now, I'll just talk you through what I've done so far. I've stitched down the background, and I'm starting to look at all of the embellishing. So my background was quite simple this time. It was 3 elements, 4 if you count one of the pieces of fabric being repeated. So the first thing is I put down this big piece of the brown with the red stripes. And that to me was the owl sitting on a fence post. So that's in amongst it. Then I've got the owl itself on a piece of hemp that I got from a fabric pack from Rachel. So a nice antique piece of hemp. And then this little corner up here is a piece of muslin or calico. And then this piece, I think this also came from Rachel as well. This piece didn't quite make it across, so I just tucked another piece of the calico behind. So the background is made up of 3 fabrics in 4 locations. Okay, then I put this line of lace through so that I disguise the join between those 2. I haven't put anything here or here to disguise the joins. and I didn't on this edge. I just tacked it down. I wanted it to feel a little chunkier, and like it looks like, because this fabric's so thick compared to that, it actually looks like the fence is sitting, or the post is sitting in front a little bit for the owl to actually sit on. Now, as you can see, my owl is a lot bigger than the one in the book. The one in the book was only about that big, so I had to enlarge him so that he sort of filled the space, and it then gives you lots of room to do some embroidery. Now, I've gone around already and stitched into place these flowers. If you've watched my videos, I bought a table runner that had these pink and green motifs on it, and I've been cutting away at them, and I just love them because the colors sort of are matching what I had in mind for this particular owl. So I've just popped a few of them in around the place. I have put some fabric in here, like a patch that I've needle turned under. That's where you take that raw edge and you fold it under. And I'll show you this on this fabric. So there's your raw edge, okay, and you would turn it under and slip stitch that down, and then when you get to this side, turn it under, slip stitch down. So that gives you a nice clean edge on your work. Now just pop that fabric. I pulled that fabric out of my stash. Actually, I was covering a journal, and I spotted it, and I thought that to me felt like the owl. So this owl's been going for about a month and a half, where I just got the background done and the owl sketched. And then I've sort of just been mulling him around. I have a few projects like that where I'll start them, like get the base done, and then I collect things for him. So it sort of builds, and I find that a lot of fun because it's sort of, he grows with the seasons, he grows with your year. So if you go somewhere and you find something really cute that you think, oh, owl, you can add it to the stash. So this is sort of the stage I'm at the moment. Now these little, just getting back to these little pieces of pink fabric here, I have done some burrow stitch through them just to secure them down and to add a little detail. I'm not 100% sure if I like that, but I'm going to leave it until I start working some of the other areas before I go and do these three little pieces here. Now, where am I at? Oh, in the top corner and along the stump is a piece of very, very old antique lace. Now, I'm going to say this lace is 100 years plus. It comes from within my family. As you know, I had a sewing grandmother, and she came from a family that were also sewers. So I've inherited all of these textiles that are very, very old. I don't have a lot. I've got more of her sewing room, which is probably more the 70s into the 80s. But in amongst it are these very old pieces that Grandma has scavenged off items that were probably no longer needed, and things like these lace collars were in amongst it. A lot of them were damaged and stained and just old. So I've been slowly using the pieces within my work, and I just love them. I just love them. I've only got a tiny little bit of this left, and I just think it's beautiful. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional. Anyway, the owl is going to have a lace piece there and a lace piece there, just to sort of bring a bit of softness to him. Now, this piece I cut out actually last night, and it's one of those, I found it and thought, oh, that might work on my little owl. So I've fussy cut out a couple of these pieces of embroidery. It's going to bring in some gold, some white, and some green for the leaves, and just sort of lift it a little. So I've sort of worked out where they're going to go, but at the moment I'm just placing them, and I'll have a little think about it. Now, this is modern, and it's from a table runner that I found in an op shop. That's the table runner. So it's like a organza stiffened table runner. And actually, sorry, I'm telling you a fib. It was in a $2 shop. That's right. It was just that's where I cut it out. It was in a $2 shop. They had a few different designs, and that one caught my eye as being a possible element that I could use in slow stitch. So you just never know where you're going to see things. I always, even if I'm in Target, I'll go for a walk through the linen section. It's like my favorite section. I don't need a towel and I don't need tea towels, but if I see some embroidery on something, even if it's a pillow cushion, I'll grab it because I can guarantee I'll cut it up and use it in something. So my little owl is going to get some of these elements. So that one's all cut out, ready to go. And it's going to wind its way through here like a secondary plant that's coming up the side of this, this stump. I actually have an owl in my garden at the moment. Well, he's been with us for a few years and I've seen him raise little owlets, but then he disappeared and I thought, oh, well, he's moved on, but he's back. He's a big boy and I hear him at night, but for a while I just couldn't see him and barely heard him. So I thought, oh, well, he's gone, but he is back and he's just beautiful. He's a tawny frogmouth owl. So he sort of looks like this guy. He has this high, peaky little look about him. Okay, anyway, I'm just wandering away here in thought. Now, I'm just going to show you some things that I've gathered together to do my owl and what I think I'm going to do with them. Whether that happens is another thing. So when I get through this little pile of goodies here to show you, I'll stop the video, I'll go away and embroider, and then I'll come back with a new video to show you how it all sort of pans out. Now, the first thing I grabbed out of my stash is some additional lace, which I'm going to add to the floral treatment around the owl. And it's going to look like little bits and pieces that I'm going to add in and tuck. Here comes my pussycat. Fudge, be quiet. So that's the lace. And on it is this little branch and then a flower repeated. So I know I'm going to use some of that through my piece. That's just going to sort of give it a bit of a pop too, so that it's not so dowdy in colours. Now I could even use some of it in the owl because I plan on making all of his feathers quite textured, so he may even get that through him. I'm not sure, but that's definitely an element that I want to use. Now I've grabbed out some old crochet cotton that sort of matches these tones and a newer one, so a couple different browny mustard colours. So they're in on the pile to be played with. Now I also grabbed out some gum nut yarns, and I kept it very neutral in the browns. So Mr. Owl may get some, and then I'll do some additional embroidery throughout the whole flowers. So plenty of options there with the gum nut yarns. Look, I've got a pussycat meowing and a puppy dog barking, so I don't think they can see each other, but they're all being silly this morning. Oh, goodness me. What else did I grab? I've just had an order of a ribbon come for some ribbon embroidery. So I really want to have a play with the green that's here. So I also had a little bits and pieces of some as well. So that's a definite, just to add some leaves in amongst this, this pink flowers. Then this one is a Steph Francis yarn that I haven't had a play with. It's just beautiful. I'm thinking the owl and feathers, so that'll be interesting to have a play with. It's going to be quite a challenge because it's quite thick, so I'm going to need a very big needle with a big eye to get that through. But boy, that's going to put some sparkle in the owl. Then, if you know me and my channel, I just have to add a little bling. So I'm going with some champagne sequins and champagne beads. So I grabbed that. Then I grabbed out some creamy beads in a couple different colors and 2 sizes. They're more champagne sequins. We don't need that. It's just some pearls, and I've gone with a real creamy pearl this time. These are like little little leaves that are sequins. So they will be great for feathers, I think. These ones too. Sequin Bazaar. There's a video I did earlier in the year showing where I got a bit of a haul of sequins from. This is just some general beads. It's like a little mix of quite large beads. Not sure where I'll use them, but I'll just pop them in, and who knows, I certainly think I'll be putting some of those through his feathers and things. Then I just grabbed some little itty bitty crystal-y looking stone, like, what's the name? Oh, gee, it's just lost me. Gems, let's just call them gems. But they're able to be stitched, and they've got a bit of a yellowy, goldy look about them. So, oops, I've just spilt them everywhere. That's all right. They would be beautiful just added to the piece that I'm yet to stitch on. Probably can't see it, but I've just popped one in amongst the vine that is this little piece of embroidery. So they would be nice to embellish that. And then last of all, I've got these little flower sequins, which are just gorgeous. You pop a little pearl or a bead in the center of them. So that's all the bits and pieces I've pulled together so far for my owl, which I think is plenty. But I thought I'll show you what I've got, and then you can sort of see, you know, how my thought process goes. Is once I've built my background and I've got my key elements in and I sort of know where I'm heading, then the fun is putting together all the goodies to, you know, go from there. And I did add that fabric. I don't know if I need it, because I sort of had visions of some yo-yos or Suffolk puffs around the place, but I'm sort of thinking that I've got enough of this pink, and now that I'm adding this element, I really think that I've got enough, and now it's down to embellishing and some embroidery and things like that. So that's my little owl. Okay, I won't annoy you anymore. We'll leave it at that, and if you'd like to see how the owl progresses, please subscribe, hit the notification button, and throw a comment in the bottom just to encourage me along. I'd really appreciate it. I'm just loving the way this little guy is coming together, and yeah, there'll be video number 2 in the coming weeks showing you the finished product and what sort of happened with the owl. Okay, everyone, look after yourselves. Happy stitching. Bye.